everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Copper Jacket TV. So we're just going to rip through this one today. This is for all those people out there like me who like to read past the headlines and actually get the real details. I'm sure by now you've all heard about the bill that was submitted in the state of New York that essentially bans Glocks, right? That's the big headline. But what is really happening here is much, much worse and goes a lot deeper. And I'm getting this directly from the bill text. So we're going to talk about that ban today and exactly what it does. So stay tuned. And if you know anybody this might affect, make sure you share it with them. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about what's going on here. So this is a huge deal. As a matter of fact, I think this might end up becoming a trend. We might see this introduced, or at least something similar to this introduced in other states. So just yesterday, a bill was introduced in the state of New York. It's Senate Bill 9225. Now, a lot of people have dubbed this, the Glock ban, but I don't see it that way at all. As a matter of fact, even though the bill's author has talked about switches and things like that, what this really does is ban all semi-automatic pistols in the entire state of New York without any grandfathering whatsoever. Now, the proof is in the pudding. We're going to take a look at the bill text here. Just see how it reads. Now, if we just take a look at the very beginning of this bill, you can see that it's not geared towards one specific brand or one specific model or type. It's geared towards everything, anything that this bill considers convertible. And I can tell you right now that pretty much everything is convertible. So this is extremely wide-ranging and would cover just about anything. It says here, an act to amend the penal law in relation to the regulation of pistol converters and convertible pistols. So again, it doesn't mention anything about brand or name in the opener here. This is basically just about anything that is convertible. Now, try and remember that these laws are always open to interpretation, and those people who create these laws understand that. And so sometimes they're vague about exactly what it is this bill covers so that they can intentionally adjust it later on. But I mean, even here, if we just take a look at lines 12 through 14, where it says, any person who transports or ships any rapid fire modification device, okay, try and keep that in mind, is guilty of a Class E felony. So this bill extends beyond that to other things as well. It's not just that one specific ban that they're working on here. Now, in true New York fashion, just like in California, who do you think is going to be exempt from all of these bans? Well, if you guessed all of the government agencies, you'd be right. It's basically law enforcement, military, contractors, anybody like that. Oh, they don't have to worry about it. They're completely exempt from this bill. The only people who this is going to apply to are going to be private citizens. That's it. So everybody else gets a free pass. The government gets a free pass. They can have as many as they want. But for you, not so much. Now, like I said in the very beginning, there's not even a grandfather clause in this bill, which happens to be a fairly short bill. Now, I call it the grandfather scheme because technically there's nothing that prevents them from overturning that grandfather clause at a later date. It's usually employed to try and calm people down, but again, that's not even in here. Now, the way that I read this bill and the number of times that I see the word convertible in there, again, not a brand, not a model or a type, but anything that is convertible, which is very vague. It just means able to be converted, which could be interpreted as pretty much everything. I see this as Pandora's box. I mean, if this was able to be passed, if this was actually signed by the governor, it would be unprecedented. Now, if this actually did pass and got signed, I could imagine that there would be a multitude of lawsuits that would follow from pretty much every pro-Constitution group in this country. However, these lawsuits, they take a long time. Even just to get an injunction, they can take a long time. I mean, if the government asks for an injunction, emergency injunction, they usually get it within a matter of days. But when it comes to us, I mean, these things can take years. In the meantime, it would be as if the Second Amendment did not exist in New York. And if that was allowed to happen, that's when you would start seeing other states implement the same thing, because they would rather, ban them for a short period of time than not at all. Now, I've seen a few people say that this is like a Trojan horse. Well, to me, it's not really a Trojan horse. They're not trying to sneak this in. It's clear. It's in plain English. If you read the bill at all, it tells you exactly what their plan is and what they're trying to do. And so we can take it at face value that they're trying to ban pretty much all semi-automatics in the state of New York. So this is something massive. This is something that everybody needs to take action on. If you have a senator in your area and you have their number or email address, this is the time to write them and voice your opposition. That's your right. That's what you're supposed to do when stuff like this gets introduced. Make sure that it doesn't even get to the floor for a vote. I mean, that's kind of what you're aiming for, right? If you can speak to them now, make sure it doesn't get to the floor for a vote, then it's gone. It's over with, and the chances of them trying that anytime soon are probably over as well. So again, this is the time to call. This is the time to write. This is the time to email your representatives and let them know, hey, I do not support something like this. It is an infringement on my rights, and whatever else you want to say in your email, but you need to voice your opposition to it. So anyway, I just wanted to dive below the big headlines, below the big brand names, and show you guys what this bill is actually about and what this bill actually does. So the more information you guys get on this bill, the better. I suggest that you read it for yourself. If you see other videos come up that maybe have a different take on this topic, watch them. Get as much information as you can so that when you finally do write or email or call, you'll have as much information as possible because, again, like I said, this is absolutely one of the worst. This is one of the worst that I've seen throughout this entire country. So this is one that we just cannot let go. And again, I wanted to share that with you. So I want to thank you guys very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Please like, subscribe. You guys have a great day.